The Loch Ness Monster, a creature that has become synonymous with Scotland as bagpipes, haggis, and kilts. So how did the Loch Ness Monster become the daddy champion of the Scottish folktales? All it took was a hippopotamus, a sturgeon, and a toy submarine. As far as hiding places go, the lochs couldn't do more damage than Loch Ness. First of all, not only is the water completely black due to the high level of peat, but it also is pretty deep. It's so deep that if you want to place the Great Pyramid of Giza at the loch's deepest point and have the Statue of Liberty climb on top, her torch would just appear on the surface. If you don't think that's impressive enough, Loch Ness holds about 7.5 million cubic kilometers of water, which is more than all the lakes in England and Wales combined. Now that's a lot of water for a secret beast to hide. For the most part, sightings of Nessie started relatively recently, towards the end of the 19th century, but some people believe that the evidence goes further than that, all the way to depict a confederation of tribes who inhabited the land of Scotland during the early Middle Ages. A biography of Saint Columba, written in 565, depicts of an incident when the saints encountered a mysterious creature that had recently killed a local villager. It should be noted that the incident took place near the river and not the loch itself, but the River Ness monster doesn't have the same resemblance to it, or does it? But it wasn't a sighting. In 1993, people started entertaining the idea that there could be a monster living in that yonder loch. And oddly enough, this sighting actually took place on land. George Spicer and his wife drove by Loch Ness one evening. They were startled by the thing that they described as the most extraordinary form of an animal that drove across the road in front of them. The creature was said to have a large body and a long neck. As George went closer, he noticed that he carried in its mouth what appeared to be a carcass of a lamb. After a report of the sighting was published in the press, people began to descend on the loch, hoping to see the monster for themselves. Sightings of the monster began to stack up, and before you knew it, Nessie's fever had gripped onto the nation. Desperate to back the scoop of the century, the Daily Mail recruited a prominent big game hunter to travel to Loch Ness to track down the elusive beast. At first, it appeared that he was about to do that, but only after a few days of monster hunting, he discovered footprints embedded within the banks of the loch. It was clear that it was the footprint of a very powerful soft-footed animal, about 20 feet long. He made a cast of the prints and sent them to the National History Museum to be identified. And when the museum announced its verdict, it wasn't good. The footprints didn't belong to the Loch Ness Monster, but altogether to a common beast, the hippopotamus. Of course, while hippos are fairly common, you don't tend to find many of them in Scotland. So what was this particular specimen doing there? Unfortunately, the answer is not quite as exciting as you're hoping it to be, and is actually quite grim. The prints were actually made using a hippo's foot ashtray. Now that's disappointing. Either way, it was a Nessie bubble burst, and it was going to take something incredible to reignite public enthusiasm. You know, something like someone taking an actual photograph in Loch Ness. And that's exactly what happened in the next phrase. Following the incident, a surgeon named Robert Kenneth Wilson was standing by Loch Ness, thinking about something when he noticed a creature sticking its head above the water surface. Fortunately, Wilson had his camera ready. The image captured by Wilson became known to be the surgeon's photograph. It's probably the most famous picture of Nessie. Although a lot of details were missing in this photograph, Republic Wire was convinced of its authenticity. After all, it was a photo before Photoshop, and at the time, people believed that a person could never lie. The photograph proved that there was really a monster living under the Ness. Now it appears that there might be some truth behind the many sightings that have been reported. Some began to speculate as to what kind of animal the Loch Ness Monster might be. The most prominent explanation was that Nessie was descended from a lineage of Plesiosaurus that survived the incident that completely made dinosaurs go extinct from the world 66 million years ago, and was able to settle its life in Scotland. The idea that fought to be extinct for a million years might be discovered alive and kicking today. But it actually happened before. The only known fact was the existence of coelacanths, a type of fish that existed during the Cretaceous period, free of fossils up to 410 million years ago, and someone found one swimming on the coast of Africa. So with that in mind, could a plesiosaur really be lodging in Loch Ness? Well, the honest, slightly boring answer is no, probably not. For a long time, scientists assumed that Plesiosaurus could never have survived in Loch Ness because it was believed that they were cold-blooded and therefore needed warm water to survive. Scottish logs have a lot of things going to them, but paddling temperature isn't one of them. But recent research suggests that Plesiosaurus may well actually have been warm-blooded. Doing that, the heated argument out of the freezing cold Scottish loch water doesn't make the Plesiosaur diary more likely. After all, to have survived 66 million years, the whole colony of these beasts needs to be down there. It would be pretty difficult for a large number of giant monsters to hide in the Loch Ness without modern technology to be able to locate them. As such, we're also expected to find a number of bones located at the depths, and we haven't. The truth beyond this is the few random sightings over the years. There's precisely zero evidence that there's something in Loch Ness other than fish and a few thousand empty plastic bottles. But if not a plesiosaur, then what exactly did Wilson take a photo of? Well, in 1994, 60 years after the photo was taken by Wilson, two gentlemen named David Martin and Bloyd made it their mission to find out exactly that. And what they discovered was a lot stranger than what you might have imagined. The two members were part of the research team of the Loch Ness, and they were keen to prove once and for all whether the surgeon's photo was authentic or not. They were desperate to find out if Wilson had really photographed the loch's resident monster. The player has currently come into possession of a newspaper article in which it alleged that the photo was the result of an elaborate hoax. For whatever reason, the article had attracted much attention at the time of its publication, but the two investigators felt it warranted. Further investigations began a decade after dedicated research, with the pair risking life and limb to uncover the truth. They simply followed some basic leads and led them to a Scottish man, Christian. When they asked Christian if he knew about the photograph, without hesitation, he said that the alleged monster, the most treasured Nessie, was nothing but a bit of wood and a toy mounted on a submarine. Now, how did Christian come to such an observation? It might be that he built the model himself at the request of his stepfather, who was Wilson, to prove that the monster really exists. However, after 2019, many researchers have tried to find the evidence of the monster by taking DNA samples from every living creature of the lake, but nothing out of the box was found except for an eel. Although researchers are still going on, the Loch Ness continues to attract a number of tourists from all over the globe who still want to believe that there's some sort of creature hiding there underneath. Do you believe in the existence of this Loch Ness monster? If yes, comment down your opinions in the comments section below. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to share this video with your friends and family. You can also subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to receive more notifications of mysterious things on Earth. Till then, wait for us to bring another content that you're surely going to like.